Today, the Chicago Teachers Union filed a 10-day notice with the Illinois Education Labor Relations Board indicating that more than 26,000 public school teachers, clinicians, and paraprofessionals may go on strike in coming days. The notice is a legal requirement defined by state law. No date for a strike has been set by this leadership. Should CTU members call for a work stoppage, this will be the first teacher strike in Chicago since 1987. This is a difficult decision for all of us to make, but this is the only way to get the board's attention and show them that we are serious about getting a fair contract, which will give our students the resources they deserve. CPS seems determined to have a toxic relationship with its employees. We have been belittled, bullied, and betrayed by this administration. Our members are demoralized, and this district is doing all it can to take the joy out of teaching and learning, and we are fighting to put it all back. They denied us our 4% raises when there was money in the budget to honor our agreement. They attempted to ram a poorly thought out, longer school day down our throats, and on top of that, they want us to teach a new curriculum and be ready to be evaluated based on that curriculum, as well as our students' standardized test scores, and it has been insult after insult after insult. Enough is enough. We have been in contract negotiations with Chicago Public Schools since November. We have been without a contract since June of this year, after its 5-year agreement with the district expired, without a new agreement in place. So what do we want? A better day? We want job security and fair compensation for our members. We remain at the table. That's what I want to make clear. We remain at the table, and we will be there until we have a contract. Labor talks have been productive on some fronts, such as winning provisions for nursing mothers, ensuring that textbooks will be available on the first day of school, and teachers will have access to functioning computers, and counselors and social workers will have appropriate private workspaces to serve students. But the bigger issues, wages, job security, and evaluations are still on the table, and the two sides remain far apart. Again, we will have a contract, and it will come the easy way or the hard way. If our members are on the picket line, we will still be at the table trying to hammer out an equitable agreement. But there's a much larger picture here. We have been very transparent throughout this entire process. We have nothing to hide. We stand with our parents in fighting for equal access to high-quality education for all students, regardless of zip codes. And we want people to understand that this step is a necessary step, and frankly, one that could have been avoided had CPS worked with us from the very beginning. Instead, they have fought us every step of the way. Their surrogates have paid protesters, taken out misleading radio ads, and have instituted a smear campaign against public school workers, all under the guise of caring for the children. Teachers, paraprofessionals, and school clinicians have been vocal in their opposition to CPS's draconian policies. In May, nearly 10,000 of us marched in downtown in preparation for a strike authorization vote, which drew a 98% approval from CTU membership. Only 1.82% of CTU members voted against authorizing a strike. Member angst was driven by CPS's overly aggressive push for a longer school day without indicating how the district would staff and pay for that program. Educators were angry that the board made no commitments to offering students the much-needed art, music, physical education, and world language classes that they needed. We understand very clearly there's a fiscal crisis at CPS. There's always a fiscal crisis. And when they're asked to put resources on the table for our students, we have chronic underfunding and misplaced priorities in this system. CPS would rather shut down schools rather than give them the resources they need. Thousands of students have been displaced by CPS school actions. Teachers, clinicians, and paraprofessionals have lost their jobs, and parents have no choice but to keep their children in under-resourced neighborhood schools or ship them off to a poor-performing charter operation. And as I've said, there's much more at stake here. This contract fight is part of a larger fight, because we are concerned about the board's plan to close over 100 neighborhood schools and create a system that doesn't serve our children. This crisis is real. This education crisis in Chicago is real. So whenever our students perform well on tests, CPS moves the bar higher, telling them that they're failures and blaming us. Now they want to privatize public education and further disrupt our neighborhoods. We've seen public housing shut down, public health clinics, public libraries, and now public schools. There is an attack on public institutions, many of which serve low-income and working-class families. So to reiterate, today, we filed the 10-day strike authorization notice with the Illinois Education Labor Relations Board. We also served a copy of CPS's General Counsel. This notice does not specify a strike date, and none has been set. We will meet with our leaders today and tomorrow, and we will determine the next step. So we call on parents, community leaders, and taxpayers to contact the board now and tell them, give us a fair contract so we can get back to doing what we love, teaching, educating, nurturing our future. Thank you.